All right, so welcome to episode 2 of the Set Breaker podcast. Today we got a guest, a good friend of mine, Alex Resurreccion.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, Alex is. I thought he was just Filipino and Japanese, right? But then you took the 23andMe test. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what were your results?
I'm 8% Korean, and the rest, it doesn't even say like Filipino or Japanese. It just says like Pacific. No, not even Pacific Islander, or some sort of like East Asian. So it could be that I'm just Korean and something else other than Filipino and Japanese, but who knows?
Okay. So here's the thing about that. It makes things too complicated.
Yeah.
For me.
Why?
Because I don't want to have to think of you as more than 2 different Asians. Like, more than one's already too much. More than 2 is like, is that necessary?
Yeah, that's true. When people are like, oh, I have like 5% Native American or like 10% something else, I'm like, all right, what's the main thing you are?
I will admit something to you, though. When I found out you were, 2% Korean, I felt much more connected to you. I was like, there's a reason why.
It's probably because I reminded you all the time about that I was Korean.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. See, me, I'm still afraid to take that test because my identity, how I view myself, is Korean. What are you? Well, I'm Korean. Korean American. My parents are from Korea. But then let's say I take the test and then I find out that I'm like 40% Chinese, 10% Japanese, and then what's the math? 50% Korean.
I was like, I don't know. We can't do math.
I know, right? Like, we just you use a calculator. He's a digital marketer. He has to do math and stuff, but he uses calculators. Yeah. He uses calculators. So anyway, if I don't want to be like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say I'm Chinese, I don't want to say all that stuff and complicated. Because then they're going to be like, how? How? I don't fucking know. Maybe because Japanese took over Korea and raped them for 30 years. I don't know. Right? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not the ambassador for fucking Koreans. I'm born here, man.
Yeah.
I can barely speak Korean.
Yeah, it's crazy because like when you're talking about that, because you know my background, because I'm Filipino Japanese, but then my mom's side, the Japanese side, was born and raised in Mexico. So I was basically raised kind of like also Mexican with Mexican culture and everything like that too. And then my last name is Spanish. So like there's a whole bunch of like questions that people always ask me about after they figure out, oh, you're actually Filipino and Japanese? Oh, and then where's your parents from? Blah, blah, blah. And then it goes all into like this whole story. So it's usually like a 10-minute conversation just about explaining what I am.
So what is one of the most common questions you'd get?
As far as what?
As being almost Latino Chino.
Usually people are like, well, this is a question I always ask people, but people ask, where's the best place to get Mexican food? Now that I live in LA, it's definitely not here.
They act like you would really know all that stuff.
Yeah. Or like, what's your favorite Mexican dish? Usually I say pozole. I love pozole. Yeah.
What is pozole again?
I don't know what it is, but I just eat it and it's really good.
No, I mean like what's in it, or like what is it?
No, what
does it look like?
It's like it's a soup.
And
then it has like these
kind of like menudo.
Very similar, yeah.
Or menudo.
Very similar.
Menudo. You know what I learned?
What?
From my Nicaraguan friend, I learned about like the European, or like the Spanish, who when they speak Spanish, those are the ones that have that lisp. Escuela, yeah.
What?
You've never noticed that?
No.
I've always noticed there was some Spanish people that speak Spanish that have that lisp, and then other ones that don't. Like escuela, or like escuela, la escuela foto. You know what?
No idea what you're talking about.
No. I mean, like, because it's like, so apparently that's more of the accent of the ones from like Spain or something.
Okay.
Like more like European ish. Like like they have like European features and all that shit. Yeah, like those ones over there. I'm really not 100% sure what I'm saying right now, but the part about the lisp part is true.
Okay. Across the board, it's true. For the most part.
For the most part.
For the most part.
See, when you say for the most part, it leaves enough leeway to where if you're wrong, hey,
no one could come back to you and be like, hey, man, you were wrong. You're like, I said for the most part.
Yeah, because that's all you did right there. You tried to trap me with that.
But then I gave you
you gave me an out. You did. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. But at the end of the day, you just look like Donnie Yen. And I've been telling Alex this for so long that he looks like Donnie Yen from Ip Man. If you guys seen the movie Ip Man or Iron Monkey, he is one of like the top kung fu cinema actors in the world, right?
Yeah, especially right now. He's huge. Ip Man 4 is coming out pretty soon. He's making a final one.
Is it really the final one?
He says it's the final one.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty excited for it, but at the same time, yeah, it should be good.
I thought you were going to say it needs to end.
Like the one with like Mike Tyson, that one was kind of weird.
Yeah, that fight, right?
Yeah. So I think they were like trying to drag it on just because it's a really successful like series, but then so now that it's ending, it's good, but also I want to watch it just because I have to watch it because it's a kung fu movie.
Yeah, because I'm that way too. I'm kind of like a completionist. I have to finish the whole thing, even if I don't really want to. Otherwise, I feel crazy.
I know what you're talking about.
I feel like I failed, right? Like you get that? Yeah. What and what other areas of your life do you feel like that you have to finish? Besides when you want to give up in bed.
I think the easiest one is like a Netflix show or like a series or something like that.
Yeah.
Where like you watch like 3 or 4 episodes because you want to give it a chance, and then you're already halfway through the season and you're still like kind of iffy about it, and then you're like, well, shit, might as well finish the next 3 or 4 episodes to complete it.
Oh shit.
Before moving on to the next one, because it's always hard to find things to watch.
That is so true. There's so many things to watch.
Yeah.
But most of them kind of suck.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, me and Ray, we always do the same routine. If we're trying to watch something on Netflix or on YouTube, we'll finish all the stuff we watch, and then we just pace around the same exact categories. Like if something new is gonna come up, and it never does. Every single day, you just.
How does that make you feel?
Tired.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's rough. Trying to entertain yourself every single day is pretty rough.
I know.
But have you watched The Good Place?
The Good Place?
Yeah.
Is that a movie?
It's a show.
No.
It's on NBC or like Hulu. It's with I think Kristen Stewart. Is that her name? No, Kristen Bell.
Nope.
No. It's really good.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's actually one of the ones I've enjoyed recently.
Okay.
It's the final season coming up, though.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, so we're going to not talk about this anymore. But I will check it out. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I'll get like a free trial or something, and then I'll text you. But yeah, man, I mean, okay, so I want to get into how so Alex is a digital marketer. He's been doing it, what, like 5 years?
Almost 5 years now.
Almost 5 years now. Damn, I'm good. Five years. And before he got in, right now, digital marketing has provided you the type of lifestyle that you've always wanted growing up, right?
Mm-hmm. For the most part, yeah.
But before that, there was a lot of like trials, tribulations, struggles, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Prior to working in the digital marketing field, I was living back in San Diego, and I was.
Wait. Before you continue, can you explain to them exactly what digital marketing is?
Oh, just digital marketing is basically like you go online and let's say you're scrolling through Facebook, right? And then you see a paid ad or you see an ad on YouTube. basically I'm the guy who's helping companies serve those ads to you in hopes that you purchase something or to help them increase their brand awareness. So it's a lot of just selling. Like instead of me selling something to Mike here in person, I'm doing it through online advertising or some sort of online space. And yeah, it's a lot of fun for me and totally different than what I thought I was going to be doing growing up.
Mm-hmm. And that's because you were saying you growing up in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, growing up in San Diego, I always wanted to do something in business or something entrepreneurial, but I never knew exactly what that was going to be. And so it was a lot because I had no one around me that was in business or even knew anything about business. Everyone was just telling me, all right, go to school, get good grades, like the whole spiel. And especially coming from an Asian family, it's like, all right, well, the best thing you can do is go either become in the medical field or get engineering. So I tried engineering. I knew I didn't want to be in medical. So I was like, all right, well, engineering should be good. I was really bad at school. So I got bad grades all the time. So engineering is kind of like a far shot.
Yeah.
But I like to create things. I like to build things. And so I tried structural engineering, architecture. I remember the first day in architecture class, I fell asleep because it was so boring that I was like, all right, this is definitely not for me.
Shit.
So yeah, I just kind of bouncing around did different things. And I didn't know, even when I was 20, 21, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And it was something that plagued me for like 5 to 7 years before that time. Just like, all right, everyone seems to know what they want to do, but I can't even figure out what I want to do. How do I even do it? And so I never found anyone that was willing to help me or teach me or do something. I had all this motivation, but I just didn't know where to go or put all of that effort into it. And so how I got into digital marketing was that I started to do personal development. So that's reading books, finding I started reading up on business people, like how did they live their lives, or like biographies. So that got me inspired to look deeper into business. And my brother went to like some sort of in-person event out of here in Santa Monica in LA. And then my former boss was the one leading the event. And he asked people in the crowd, like, hey, who wants to come work with me? I'm starting a new company. And so my brother was like, hey, we should give this a shot. Like him and a couple other friends got hired and they were like, you should move up. I had nothing else going for me at the time. I was working at a restaurant. I was being a sushi chef and like a server. And so I was like, all right, this is better than anything. Like this is the best opportunity I got right now. And so I ended up moving, got the job. And the first week into it, he was like, hey, do you want to try out marketing? Like you're pretty good at like computer stuff. You're pretty decent at math, even though I can't do mental math. As long as I got a calculator, I could do it. But
you could do that cheating math.
So he's like, yeah, you should try it out. And so as soon as I got into it, it just opened up my mind to like, whoa, like I didn't even know you can buy ads online. I didn't even know you could do this stuff. And so it just really intrigued me. And so I dove deep into it, jumped straight into the pool and read every single book I could, bought every course online, just did anything I could to learn. And fast forward 4 to 5 years later, it's been able to provide me like the lifestyle that you said, that I've always wanted, like the freedom, the time freedom. Like right now it's a Friday and I'm here hanging out with Mike and my dogs. And so pretty much this is my kind of everyday life right now. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So basically he doesn't like Alex doesn't have to trade his time for money. Like if we were to get paid hourly, right? Like a 9 to 5, like he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah. Like a lot of people, like me, especially growing up, my parents were working 12 to 14 hours a day. Even my grandpa, he's in his late 70s. He turned 80 like a year ago, but late 70s, still working full-time job.
Wow.
And my parents, like growing up, we were like lower middle class. We're like barely middle, like in that middle class bracket. But all I knew was that they just put hours in and that's the only way to make money. Cause that's what they told me. Like basically they would just break even every month. They would have enough to pay for the bills, but never enough to get ahead. And so that's all I knew. And so I knew I didn't want to live that way growing up. And so whatever would give me the ticket to get to a different place where I can actually like provide for my family and help people out or help myself out too, I was just willing to do anything. And so digital marketing happened to, like, I fell into it. It happened to be all the things I'm really good at, my skill sets and my interests too, where that's kind of like the perfect storm, basically. A lot of people aren't as fortunate where they have all these skills, but they're spending so much time trying to figure out what it is, but they don't figure it out before like the time they really need to. Or some people get too old and they're like, oh, I finally found out what I was passionate about. I finally know what I want to do, but now it's too late. I got kids, I got all these responsibilities, so they can't pursue it. And so that's kind of like what you were doing, where, because you were helping me with the digital marketing stuff too.
I was doing digital marketing.
And it came to a point like last year where you had to kind of choose whether you want to keep pursuing it or if you really wanted to do what you really wanted to do deep down, but whether it didn't make like financial sense or if it didn't, like on paper, it's like, why would you want to do that? Because you can make X amount of money doing this, but like, so like, yeah, I don't know if too many people know that story. So I wanted you to kind of elaborate on how you feel about it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people know, but basically, like, I was working with Alex. We were doing digital marketing, and it's a lot of computer stuff, a lot of like basically learning the skills to be able to capitalize on the internet to be able to make money even when I'm sleeping. Like, right? Like, I know that sounds cliche because people are, oh, make it when you sleep. You could work from your laptop in like Tahiti or some shit. Yeah. But it's a real thing. It's like a legitimate thing. Like, Alex can literally go on a vacation right now for like a week if he wanted to, like out of nowhere. But for me, I was behind a computer like 10 to 12 hours a day. I was learning a lot, but I'm super extroverted, like that's on the extreme, right? You know,
yeah.
I still don't comprehend how extroverted I am because this is just what I know.
Yeah.
But it seems all across the board.
Oh, 100%.
That I'm very extroverted.
All 100%, 110%. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So imagine somebody like me who that's how I naturally operate. And I'm suppressing that. I'm shoving that down to sit down, not move, and stare at a computer screen.
Yeah.
It was tough, but that's all I knew. Like after college, like I was doing computer stuff. I didn't know. And to me, digital marketing was like a way out of that. I'm like, if I make enough money, if I set up enough systems to where I can make income, then I can do what I really want to do.
Right.
But I didn't really even know what I really wanted to do because I shoved down my true creative soul to be able to function in this world in a way that I thought I was supposed to function.
Yeah.
And then basically I just had to, I was so miserable, not because of you.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Because you're 2% Korean.
Yeah.
So
we got to stick together.
Yeah. We got to stick together. But but it's just like, I had to make that jump. Like I had to, and this is the happiest I've been ever in 29 years. Now I'm 30. I'm fucking 30 now. And before I was like, oh, I'm so old, blah, 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 blah. I feel the youngest I've ever felt. Besides my teeth being chipped, it's cool. I feel young. You know, I got like old man teeth, but I'll fix them later. Don't worry. When I start making money in the future. But yeah, but you bring up a great point. Like so many people, they do things that they think they're supposed to do, and then they find out too late or never find out what it is that they really wanted to do.
Yeah. I remember last year, like, because since we're working together, I can see like your attitude. I can see like what you're working on, and like the performance started to like kind of go down. And I was always trying to figure out why. And like we would have a lot of talks like this where we just spend the hour talking about, all right, what's going on? Like, how can I help you do this? Or like, what are you struggling with? And so a lot of it came back down to you were still trying to figure out what that was, that pressure building up that was keeping you from like excelling. Because I knew I believed in you. I knew you can do really great things in the industry, and you had a really good work ethic. So it wasn't adding up for me, and so I would try and help you figure out what it was.
Mm.
And then once you started getting into like the stand up or pursuing more of the creative side, that's when you started to, your attitude started to pick back up, your energy. And so like, all right, this is something that he's really passionate about. And I remember that point where you're just like, man, I can't do this anymore. And it got to that.
Dude, it was intense, man.
Yeah.
It was like a breakup.
Yeah.
But like on good terms.
No, yeah. It was, especially for me, like I really want my friends to do what they want to do. And whatever it is, like I support them 100%. And so regardless of what was happening in the business side of things, I'm like, dude, you got to pursue it. Like if this is what you want to do, you got to do it. And look at you now, like a whole year's passed since that time. And every time I see you, like, you're like, oh dude, I'm so excited about this. Like I got this show going on. And so like, it's never been like, oh dude, I made a mistake. Like this sucks. Like I never hear that from him. And it's always positive, like good energy. And it's because he's actually doing what he wants to do. And I really respect it. And I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, because that's the thing. When we're not doing what we were born on this earth to do in one fashion or another, we start to... His dog just like crawled on my lap. But we start to literally rust from the inside out.
Yeah.
Our functions, our physical being, our spirit, mentally, emotionally, it just like rots. And that's why the whole time I was, and it wasn't because I worked with you and like the computer. It was years in the making.
Yeah.
It was a compound effect. But it took me working with my friends and still being miserable to realize something's fucked up. Something's fucking wrong. And and we're taught to ignore that. We're taught to just suck it up because that means we're being weak, especially men.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I was raised. Like my dad, he would hit me more if I cried. But if I stood there and I was just being angry and make a scowl on my face, he wouldn't touch me anymore. So I learned to view any like thing, like because I of course getting hit, you like, this is not right. Like something's fucked up here. Something's fucked up here, right? So I learned to suppress anything that where my gut instinct was telling me this is wrong. So I kept trucking through it. But yeah, I mean now I'm like, I told you this already, but I would always have this resting level of anxiety and depression that at all times, no matter how much I worked out, no matter what I did, no matter what show I saw, no matter if I, made love with somebody, had a good date, whatever, it was always there. But once I started this journey, 90% of that resting stuff went away, if not more. Yeah. Like I don't have that anymore. Like, I like my nervous system is primed to deal with like baseline, to feel like anxious at times or like have adrenaline running because of the house, like the way things happened in my household. Yeah. But that alleviated majority of that. Yeah. So I can sit there and just like make more sense of things, be more resourceful and figure out solutions. Because my car radiator exploded, shit got fucked up. Right. If this was a year and a half, 2 years ago, I would have been flipping out. I would have been like, my life is over. Things are screwed. Like, what am I going to fucking do? Even when I had more money back then. With less money now, I thought of solutions and was more calm. Now, I will admit, when it first happened, I blamed a lot of things.
Yeah, that's normal.
Right? It's normal. But I cut that down immediately. Yeah. Within that day. And then like thought of, what can I do? What's in my control? And that all comes from giving myself permission to do what I want to do and not shaming myself for it. Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people, they kind of get stuck in whether, hey, like I have to do this because my parents say so, or I have to do this because my friends say so, or I have to do this because society tells me. And a lot of the times, like, your parents may not know better. Like my parents came from a different country, third world country, and
your dad was from Philippines, right?
Philippines, yeah.
So Mexico, Philippines.
Yeah, so he grew up, when he was 5, he was already selling stuff on the street just to make money, like to help provide for his mom. Like he had no dad, basically wasn't even there, and so like they just had to fend for themselves. And so when they cross the ocean, come over here, it's like, all right, land of opportunity. I got to do whatever I can to make money, sustain my family, help them out. And so like even like for the past decade or like a little bit beyond that, he moved to Alabama because his job, the plant in San Diego, shut down. So he's like,
Wow.
you either lose your job or you got to move over here where all the money's at. And so he moved to Alabama by himself and stayed there for like 7
Jeez.
years. And no one wants to live over there. Like,
Well,
it's
especially if you're Filipino and Asian. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? Hey, we got another Mexican coming in.
I went to visit him, and we were the only Asians in the town.
That must have been strange.
It was pretty weird. But just like when I say like no one wants to live, it's the weather. Like if you come from San Diego,
Yeah.
like California, you know what California weather's like. But when you go over there, it's raining one day, thunderstorms the next day, super hot the following day, and then nice day. But then goes immediately can flip over.
Dude.
And so he was there by himself for 7 years, didn't complain once.
Wow.
Just so he can pay for the house at back home in San Diego and support us. And so for him growing up, or like for us growing up, we're taught, all right, you just got to do what you got to do. And sometimes they're like, hey, you got to go to school. He kept telling me to go to school no matter what, because when you're in America, like that's all immigrants know is like, go to school.
Very true.
Get a good job, because if you can only get a good job if you have a good degree from a good school. And so
Find stability.
yeah, like they just want that stability because they know, all right, if you're an engineer, you're probably going to have a lot of work, or if you're a doctor, you're going to have a lot of work.
But the thing that a lot of people don't know is even I know engineers that have been doing it for like 30 years. They can't get a fucking job at all. So it's not true.
It's definitely not true.
It's not.
And it's just, I dropped out of school or college like 2 years in because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, why am I even here? Like, what's the point of doing all this schoolwork, getting my general education, or like doing classes that I have no interest in just because I need a degree? And most of my friends that finished with a degree were working at the same jobs that I was working at without one. And so like it was kind of like I didn't see the end, or like means to, or like the end of means to an end, whatever that is.
Oh yeah, you didn't see basically you didn't see the point of it.
Yeah, basically the point of it. And so
Make it easy on yourself, man. Come
on. Yeah, like I quit school 2 years in, and I still told my parents I was still going to school, just because they kept telling me like, hey, you got to go to school, like I want you to finish. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm still going, like my semester should be up soon.
Oh man, shit. I did that.
But until the point where I started making like good money is the point where like, okay, like you don't have to go anymore. And so for them, it's just that stability thing you're talking about. And once they see like you can fend for yourself in this world, or you can do whatever like you want to do without having to like worry about anything, then they're like, all right, cool. So they might not be coming at you like, or your parents or the society, or they're just saying stuff because they think it's best for you. And so sometimes you have to ignore that if you know what's best for you, or like you know what you want to do deep down.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the thing that everybody struggles with. And then you know, here's the fucking cycle. It's like you listen to the parent, you don't listen to yourself, you become miserable, you blame them, you have a worse relationship with them, they die, you feel horrible that they died, and your relationship with how you conducted yourself that whole, you know, however many decades, and then you die, or you get sick because of that misery and that sadness. I saw that for my future. Mm-hmm. I knew, because I watched my dad. My dad was not that happy dude. Like he had a lot of fucking like fucked up shit, and it's also because though, you know, like their generation was harder. You know, parents went to Korean War, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I saw that, and I just knew, just as with you, like you didn't want to go through all that financial struggle that you saw that your family went through. I was more afraid of the emotional like trauma of if I have kids, what will happen to them? Am I going to repeat the process and like fucking take shit out on them?
Yeah. So you already thought far beyond like even like this past year. It's like, all right, 10 years from now, like how am I going to feel? Or like,
yeah,
what is this going to do for my family? And like, that's crazy.
Yeah, or like even just people around me.
Yeah.
Because, I have that capacity to be a fucking horrible person. Like, really horrible person. I have a sharp tongue. I can say some mean things. But on the other end of that, when I take care of myself, I'm in a good place. I can use that understanding of like the psychology of people to take care of them, to encourage them, to be a better friend, boyfriend, whatever, and be a positive force in their lives.
Yeah.
And now I can confidently say I am that person. Even though on paper, not making a lot of money, I'm not known yet as a stand-up comedian, but I'm working on the skills on a daily. I start this podcast. I'm self-sufficient. I'm putting things out there. I'm just doing things with confidence of knowing at least I can build this, and whatever it leads to is whatever it leads to, but I'm getting better and I'm happy doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy doing it, regardless of whatever it is, like that's what else is life about, really? Like,
yeah.
Like, you don't want to work 40 years. Like, people have the mindset, like, I'm going to work 40 years and then retire. And then what? What are you going to do when you retire? Not do anything?
I know, right? Like people always go, I can't wait to retire when I'm 60. That's the goal. It's like yeah, what are you going to do? Because then you have to, without all that, like working towards a goal or whatever, once that's out of the picture and you're left with yourself in silence, then it's like, that's the truth mirror.
Yeah.
That silence, it forces you to face yourself and all those feelings. And then you got to be like, who the fuck am I? Right?
Yeah. Imagine if you, let's say last year you decided, hey, I'm still going to pursue digital marketing.
Yeah.
What if it took you 5 years to get to the point where you were making enough money to actually pursue stand-up on the side? But that time you might have been burnt out. Let's say you might have a kid or two, and now you have less time or less energy to pursue stand-up to the point where you could, if you just started from the beginning. And so like delaying stuff that you want to do, or putting it like, oh yeah, maybe like next year I'm going to do it, or the year after that I'm going to do it, or when I'm ready, like you're just delaying it, and then eventually you might not even want to do it anymore.
Dude, that is so fucking true.
Yeah.
That's the fucking trap. When it gets to this point, when it gets to A, then I'll be able to do what it is I want. That is not true. That's a fucking farce.
Yeah.
That is an illusion. That's what I have learned in the past year. That's what I kept telling myself. And the only way to really, you just have to do it. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is at the end of the day. You just have to do it. My favorite quote from the book, The Magic of Thinking Big by, I think, Dr. David Schwartz is, action cures fear, period. Literally anytime you have a fear and you don't do something about it, it grows in your fucking mind, because your mind can think of anything. You can imagine like dragons and all that stuff. So you're right. You can do that with your fear, even if it's a simple fear of, oh my God, what if I do this speech in speech class? I'm going to fail. People are going to piss on me. Like you can go from them laughing at you to pissing on you in your mind. And the brain can't differentiate between reality, that being a reality, and not being a reality. Mm-hmm. Like you'll feel all those emotions as if it's happening.
Yeah.
So how else do you know? How do you break that? You just fucking go up there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've done a lot of that, right?
Yeah. Kind of going back to not like, all right, hey, if I hit this certain point, then I'm gonna do something, right? So I have a good example of that. Like Mike knows, but I'm super big on like my family and like my close friends, and so the reason why I wanted to start like making money and getting into business was because I wanted to help my grandparents and help my parents out with financial stuff. And so in 2017, beginning of 2017, I was making enough where I was able to support my grandparents and retire my grandpa.
At what age? How old were you?
24.
That's amazing. Just saying. Just had to add that in.
And but it took 5 years to get to that point, or like 3 or 4 years of me setting that goal and be like, all right, I just need to make this much so I can do that. And
because your goal was super specific, right?
Yeah.
You made a very specific goal and you hyper focused on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to that point, I realized it only took $1,500 to $2,000 more to do that for them. And so I could have done it sooner, but I said like, hey, I need to make $8,000 a month. That way I can do it. And then once I got there, I was like, shit, I could have done this earlier. And then what happened, like fast forward a year later, now I'm like, all right, it's not $8,000 a month. I want to make $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, right? And so my goal kept going higher and higher. And then I stopped focusing on like my family or like my grandparents. And I started to focus more on myself and like hitting the next number. Right. And so I kind of lost sight of what I was doing it for. And then last year, my grandma passed away, like out of nowhere. Right. And like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, I took her out for dinner, like for her and my whole family for her birthday dinner. Yeah. And she was like, this is the nicest dinner, like the most expensive dinner anyone's taken me to. And I was like, this is not even anything. Like I have all this money and I just threw a dinner for her, like a regular place.
Where did you take her?
It was like a regular Japanese restaurant.
Oh, like on Yelp, it would be like maybe $3 signs max.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
like the bill came out to like $300-$400.
Okay.
But for like 8 people.
Oh, that's right.
Not, so it's not a lot in like perspective wise, but to her, like they didn't have anything like that.
Oh shit.
And so I was like, oh shit, like I have money now. I can be doing this stuff. And then she passes away 2-3 weeks later.
Wow.
And so for me, I was way too focused on making all this money, but I could have been doing that for them the whole entire year before.
Wow.
So like I was like, all right, when I hit this much, I'm gonna do all these great things with them. But at the same time, I could have been doing it with them the whole entire time.
That ties in, and it's parallel to like doing it for yourself. Let me wait till I make X amount, or I'm at X place, and then I can love myself truly.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm sure some crazy changes happened within you, like mentally just right.
Yeah. So saying that out loud, it took a while for me to understand all that stuff. But at the time when it happened last year, it was like, well, fuck, dude. Like I could have been doing this the whole time. Who else around me can I do that for so that I won't regret it? Because that's something I regret till this day. Like it's not something that plagues me, but I know like, all right, if I had one regret was to spoil her way earlier. So last year I took a lot of time off of work to just, all right, whatever I can do for my family or the people that I wanted to spoil, once I made all this money, I wanted to spoil them. Let me do that now. So that way, if anything happened, God forbid, or whatever, that I can live my life without saying, all right, I actually did it for them. So like, all right, I went on a dream vacation with my girlfriend. Whatever my grandpa wanted to do, like I took him on a helicopter ride to Catalina Island because he wanted to go play the casino over there. Damn. And it turns out that there's no casino over there. It's just a place that's called the casino, but it's a place for people to gather.
What the hell?
He was salty. He was like,
I will be salty too.
There's no casino here. I was like, oh, damn it. We just waited all this. Yeah.
That's messed up. They know.
They know. Because people, when we got there, people were like saying the same exact thing.
That's so fucked up.
So it was hilarious.
Fuck you, Catalina Island.
Yeah. So like anything that he wanted to do, we just did it. Like flew first class. He's never been in the front of the airplane before. And so all these things that I was able to do for them that I wish that I could have done with my grandma too. So I started doing all this stuff. Because I knew at that point, like, all right, if I can make money, I can spend all this money to do that and make it up back again. Right. And yeah, so it just got to the point where like, all right, I was kind of spending to kind of fill that void. Yeah.
Okay.
And so now it's at a point where, all right, I got to start from scratch, start from the bottom and rebuild it. But now I have this mentality where, all right, I did everything for other people that I wanted to do. and experienced everything. I traveled all over the world, did everything. So now, all right, I'm at baseline. So now I can work back up and build it for long term. Now I have all these like things that I wanted to do already, got it out of the way. So now I can really just focus on doing it all over again.
But this time prioritizing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, when you do that, at least for me, I didn't do it in the way that you did it, where I was able to make like money like that. But I was trying to be an accountant and do all these fucking other jobs that weren't aligned with me, because I was thinking of everybody else.
Yeah.
But now that I'm doing things for me, I have so much more love to give, because there's more. You fill up the tank of love by being able to love yourself.
Yeah.
Then you have more to give. That's what I learned. I fucking learned from myself, man. But here's the thing. Like, what do you fucking 20?
26.
Yeah, you had to think about that. Do you
Dude,
need a calculator for that too?
Dude, after I turned 21, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't
about
really matter.
it
It's not that
doesn't-
exciting, dude.
Yeah,
like, because it's I get you.
Yeah, like,
but
yeah,
it's just like, what the fuck? I'm fucking 30. Who gives a fuck?
it's just a number.
It is a number. Until my teeth start falling out. Then I'm gonna be like, it's not just a number.
It's like, all right, you hit 21, you get all these benefits of being 21, and then until you hit like 55 or 60, when you get senior discounts, it doesn't really matter in between then.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like, why? What is my why? Why am I on this earth? Jesus.
Like, I'm trying to live till like I'm 150, 200.
Dude, man, you're the only person that tells me that, and I believe you, but I don't want to believe you, because I don't want to be. After a certain age, your fucking joints are busted.
Dude,
your dick can't get hard.
Science, man.
Well, maybe you could like shoot liquid Viagra into your cock, but maybe by that time too, at that age, you're so enlightened. You're like, what? Why?
I don't even need that.
Yeah, what is that?
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. I mean, because that's a possibility,
dude. Like, they're already working on things where they can replace all your organs in your body with your own, or like they basically recreate your organ from your own DNA. I thought you were gonna
say with your own dick. We're gonna replace every organ in your body with your own dick. We're gonna clone your dick. You're gonna be full of your own dick.
Dude, they can replace. They're working on that now. So like 20, 30 years from now, when we're 50, 60 years old, who knows what's possible, dude?
That is true. You know, because sometimes I think about how far we've come just like technologically.
Yeah.
Like, I was using a flip phone, and so was everybody else, just early 2000. It's only been 20 years. And when back then, there wasn't any crazy laptop, you know, weak internet, modem, whatever. Maybe there was like DSL, but that wasn't even that fast. Now we got this freaking phone that can literally do almost anything in 20 years. Yeah. So you're right. Like, who knows what happens, man?
So I'm just being optimistic. Like, shit can, like, the whole world can go to shit, but
as long as I'm 150, that's all that matters.
As long as I can make it there.
Yeah, I just have to hit that age. Damn. So I want to get in your head a little bit more. So now that you're starting over from scratch, and this might be tough to answer because you're starting. Right. Where are you right now?
Basically, it's came to a point where I got earlier this year. This is an easier way to explain it. One of my biggest clients last year, we had a falling out, and so from that point on, it was just it was an epitome of like, that's when I started to realize all the stuff that I went through last year, and how like the death of my grandma affected me and like my actions, and then that trickled into a lot of different areas. And so a lot of this whole year, basically for the past 8-9 months, has been me figuring out what did I do wrong in business, what did I do wrong in my personal life, or like love life, everything, and figuring out ways that I can become better from it and then move forward. So a lot of this year was just me thinking, and I didn't pick up a lot of work. I didn't do anything like that. And the past couple months, it's just me thinking about and reflecting, basically. So I'm at a point where it's just zero. Everything's zero. I still have income from certain marketing stuff, but right now it's the lowest it's been in 2-3 years.
Bro, are you doing okay?
No, I'm doing fine.
You're still okay. Okay. Yeah. But it's just not.
It's not to the point where it was, and
Yeah.
right now it's just I actually really needed to go through this to get all this stuff figured out, because all the stuff that was inside would have plagued me for the next couple of years, and it would probably happen later in life when I had kids or something like that,
which would be way worse.
It would be 100% worse.
Yeah.
And so now that I got everything figured out, I can actually take steps and build for the long term without having to think about a lot of other stuff.
That's great. And you know, you're one of the few guys. Actually, you're the only guy I could think of, literally, off the top of my head, that told me that their dream was to be a stay-at-home dad.
Oh, dude.
You're literally the only person to tell me that, and it's so interesting because, you know, you're like a world traveler, you're a businessman, and then your dream is like on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
like nobody would guess that,
dude.
You
like
know?
It's weird to say, but I like being at home for the most part. Like when I'm traveling, like sometimes, like last year I was gone almost 5 to 6 months out of the year, and so that was a lot.
That is a lot,
right? Like I added it all up. It was a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, you don't really have to add that up. Like it is a lot of
No.
Is 6 months really a lot?
It was like, all right, come home for a couple, like 2.
Oh, like chopped up.
Like it was chopped up. I wasn't gone for like.
I'm like, damn. Do you need a calculator for that too? Sheesh, fuck, man.
I've been in China for 6 months.
I know, man.
No, like,
damn. Give me a calculator. I can't make sense of it.
Yeah, it's so, and I would, after like a couple days out, I'm like, I wish I was home. Like I wish I was at like home with my dogs and just kind of hanging out. And so for me, I'm pretty like a homebody. I like to do like adventure stuff and everything like that once in a while, or whenever it's like comes up. But for the most part, I just like doing this, hanging out, talking, conversating with my good friends, family, and hanging out with my dogs. And before it was like, oh, I want to create a company that does $100 million or $1 billion or all this stuff. And then I just thought more about it and like, hey, I really don't want to manage 100 people or 1,000 people or 50,000 people. Yeah. And so, yeah, this is more what I want to do.
Or
three
people.
people.
Yeah, because when we were working together, it was like me, Kevin, and it was still stressful. I can imagine.
Dude, like, for me, I just want to work where, all right, I do my stuff, and then they know what to do, and it just goes like that. But yeah, for me, I found out I really don't like to be like a manager or that type of style.
Yeah.
I'd rather be kind of like a solo person or working within someone's team, because that way I can just, because I have ADD like crazy. We're like, all right, if I have to tell Mike something to do, then I'm too invested into what he's doing and then forgetting about me. Or if I'm too invested in myself, then I don't give a fuck about what everyone else is doing because I have to focus on this. And so it was like trying to throw up one person and all this other stuff falls, and I had to go back over here, lift this other. So it was rough for me.
Yeah.
And so, but it took all of that to learn that about myself. Yeah.
We got to learn.
Yeah.
We all got to learn.
Yeah.
We all got to learn like that. It's like, is there any more he's going to say? Is that it? Because that's not that enlightening, you know? It's like, we got to learn. We got to eat sometimes.
That's a quote. We got to learn.
I know, we got to learn. I'll put that on a t-shirt. All right. I'm going to copyright that shit. No. All right. Nobody take that.
I forgot there was a camera.
I know, right? See, that's how good this is. Yeah. See, this is how I draw people into the conversation. And you forgot how heavy that microphone is until I said it was heavy. But now you're used to it because the human body adapts.
Stand.
Yeah. I thought you elbowed yourself in your cock. He's like, let me. Yeah. Yeah, this microphone, guys, is actually quite heavy when you first hold it. And then as you have the conversation, it gets lighter.
Yeah. It actually does. I totally forgot about it. Yeah. So I hope that the audio picks up a lot of that conversation, because I was like,
I hope so too, because you were swinging your microphone hand around. I'm like, come on, Donnie Yen, stop doing that fucking Ip Man shit.
Dude, I totally got ADD. I gotta like move around. So like sitting here, it's hard. I need to move something.
I don't want to like say anything because you were really into what you were saying.
I know. I caught myself doing it. I was like, oh shit.
I kept staring at the microphone. I was like, maybe he'll see my eyes, so I don't have to say it. Yeah. But no. I mean, I think we're good. We don't have to worry about the audio and stuff. But
He'll pick it up.
It'll pick it up. This is, I mean, for the amount of money I fucking spent on this, it better pick it up because I'll be very, very sad if it doesn't. You know, very, very sad. But I mean, but see, I think we can both agree, regardless of the amount of money we have. Well, first of all, I do have to address, it's great that you were able to retire your, you know, your family grant.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't able to do that. That's fucking amazing, you know, being able to have that drive outside of yourself to do that, because I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
I thought about it because I tried to adopt a lot of your principles as we were working together, and I realized, like, I'm just not you. I'm not Alex.
Yeah,
like, I tried to be you, literally.
You don't even have to be me. Like,
no, I thought I had to because I was like, oh, he's successful. Let me be successful. Like, right? Because I wasn't doing blah blah blah. We already talked about it, but yeah. Although I can't do exactly what you do, like the way your mental processes are, I can do that in my own way. Mm-hmm. And of course, like, eventually later when I make money from doing what I'm doing, like what I really want to do, my creative stuff, my stand-up and acting, whatever, of course I'll give back. Like that's always been my dream, to like give back, have like dinner parties. I know that sounds super like, you know, I love dinner parties. I don't care, man. I'll put on some Pandora, the Backstreet Boys playlist.
Yeah.
And then have like I always fantasize about, like, you know, a bunch of my friends like together, you know, like the girls are working on whatever they're making in the corner, like they have like, you really like ranch dressing too? Yeah, I love ranch dressing. The guys were just like in the corner, like, yo, dude, yeah, as I was saying, ow, fucking kicked my pinky on the fucking couch. Oh my god,
dude, that happens to me almost every week.
Fuck your couch. Whenever I kick something, I get angry. Like, I want to blame the inanimate object and like hurt it. Like, dude, fuck you.
It doesn't even make sense. Like, if you, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but the ottoman or whatever that thing is way smaller than the couch. So ottoman? That's why everyone always thinks like there's enough couch there without kicking it.
Yeah, why is that, dude? Stupid shit. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, like and then the guys. Oh my god, my fucking foot hurts so bad. But like, and all the guys are just like, yeah, dude, what'd you work out today? I did some, like back, because I'm trying to balance the back with the chest. Because if you do too much chest, you're gonna be like a caveman. It's not good for your shoulders, you know, shit like that. And then we all eat at the end of the day, and then we play some like Pictionary or some shit, or just like laugh like, remember when you did this? Like, that's what I fantasize in my head. I think about that. That's what I think of often. And you know what? That answers it, because we're gonna end soon, but we're gonna get just touch upon a little deep shit right now. I try to create family with my friends because I don't have that in my family,
right?
Because I was always a black sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Even my fucking tutor, the tutor in middle school, told that the tutor that I went to, that my sister went to, that my two cousins went to, I found out like 15 years later. The math tutor, her name was Mickey. Fucking Mickey, bitch. She told my cousins, don't be like your cousin Michael.
Just behind your back.
What did I do besides just struggle at math?
Dude, they're like,
what did I fucking do? I didn't do anything. I didn't do shit.
It's because you struggle at math.
I know. He's stupid. Don't be like him.
Hey, the only Korean that doesn't know math.
I know, right, dude? I felt so stupid.
Was that Kumon?
No, it wasn't. It was at Henderson Library in Torrance. It's just a random library. She's like an independent contractor, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know. But I don't remember the point of what I was trying to say before I kicked my pinky toe.
You're going to like what you down the line, what you fantasize about, like what you want to do once you like. There's a certain point that you get to.
Oh yeah. So like, what I learned was I have my own specific needs and wants. Mm-hmm. Out of life, and I think we all do at the core of it, like whatever we perceive as family, whatever we perceive as joy, it is all subjective. It is all, I mean, really just gotta, like, now I understand like how there can be like just homeless people that are just happy, or why there's people that purposely choose not to live in a home and just travel around, just being on the streets, and they're happy like that. Because some people look at them as they're crazy, but And I used to too, but now I get it. I'm like, you know, because that's their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that was my happiness, like, why the fuck not? Because their goal isn't to live in a fucking like mansion.
Yeah.
You know, and we know somebody who lives in a mansion. We're not gonna say the person's name, but they're not that happy.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. I'll just say it.
It's okay. I plead the fifth.
Yeah, you're neutral. You're neutral in all this. I'm not. Nobody's gonna figure it out, except maybe one or two of you.
You might.
But you might. But basically, at the end of the day, make that move. Make that jump for what it is that you want. Right now, I'm struggling with some money stuff, but I'm still happier than I was when I was making more money.
Yeah. Yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
Like growing up, because we had no money, right? So money was like, all right, if I get money, then all my problems are going to go away. Like my parents would always fight about money. There might not even be enough money to buy us like groceries or snacks or anything like that. And so for me, it was like, all right, growing up, if I make enough money, then I don't have to go through what I had to go through. But once I made the money, it was like, well, shit, I still got to go through all the same stuff anyway. Right?
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. You just get to think about different problems, right? Different things where someone that isn't making a lot of money doesn't get to think about, but it doesn't mean like your problems go away. And so it just allowed me to think about and solve other issues that I would have never. That's very confusing what I just said. But yeah, like there's nothing, like you're always going to have problems.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean like you should give up or not do it, or so yeah, just go through it and do you got to do whatever you got to do to get whatever you want.
How many like shitty worthless quotes are we gonna have? You got to do what you got to do to get what you, well, yours is better than mine.
I thought of something and then it just immediately just like, all right, I want to say this thing now, and then
because I feel like every time we were gonna have some like there's this moment of like deep impact with the next couple of words, we both failed miserably.
Yeah, this is the worst motivational podcast you can listen to.
I know, right? And that is why I categorized it as comedy. Now you guys understand. So it gives me leeway.
Yeah.
Just like I said earlier, leeway to make mistakes. You know?
So it's not across the board, but
it's half of the board.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay. So guys, I think we all hopefully you got a lot of cool what the fuck am I saying? You got a lot of insight out of this. Pursue your dreams. Pursue what you really fucking want, cuz you don't know, man. You don't know what's going to happen. Either the world takes you out or you take yourself out. And that's a real fucking thing. If you don't allow yourself to live. You don't allow yourself to truly fucking live. And yeah, so 2% Korean man, you do you want, are you okay with people knowing what your social media handle is?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll edit that part out where I
fine.
asked like that. Okay. So Alex what's your social media handles? Where can they find you at?
You could just add me on Instagram. It's Alex.res, so Alex.res.
Okay. ALEX.RES.
Yeah.
Because he didn't put his full name spelled out because it's a fucking weird spelling.
It's fucking long as hell.
Yeah, because it's Resurreccion, but you spell it like R. Let me try.
All right.
Okay.
Test.
RES.
Uh-huh.
UR.
Uh-huh.
ECCION. Or is it two R's and
Two
then
R's,
one
two
C?
C's.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Two R's and two C's?
2 R's, 2 C's. Yeah. There's always someone that those are the two hardest parts.
That's stupid. Why?
I don't know.
That's too
Don't
many.
ask me, dude.
There's too many doubles, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. Jesus Christ.
There's only a handful of people that I've even known for like 20 years that can actually spell it.
So I did a pretty decent job.
You did fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donnie Yen.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Donnie Yen. Alex Resurreccion. You can find him on Netflix on Ip Man. If you look up Ip Man.
Ip Man 4 coming out.
Ip Man 4 coming out. But
see you at the press tour.
But yeah, thanks for listening, man. And
yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming around.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
on the podcast at my house.
At my house. At your house. Yes. All right. See you guys next time.
All right. Take care, guys. Peace.
Peace. That was fun, right?